provide answers, but I think, in my mind, this is good news. And hopefully at the end of this report, y'all will agree. Let's just go through it page by page. Right off the bat, 2009 SPLOST, the projected ballot revenue, 100% collection, our share was about $17.355 billion. Because the economy was tanking, most communities looked for an 80% collection rate. That 80% collection rate was 13,884,065. Collections to date, 10,658,847, or about $227,000 a month. The good news is the average over the last 18 months has actually been closer to 240,000. I went back 18 months because the economy has gradually ticked up over that time. What I did was project out not the 238, but 230,000 a month from now through the end of March. And so to get that total projected revenue of about $13,650,000. And like I said, that's at $230,000 a month from here through the end of March. Hopefully, we're talking about a $240,000 shortfall off the 80% collection rate. We've got a chance to get there, but it'll be close. But just to be conservative, that total projected revenue was $13,648. At the time the SPLOST passed, there was a division of proceeds decided upon, a percentage. 40% went to public safety, 37% went to recreation, 13% to transportation, and 10% to what was called admin, actually for the public works building. And that's the breakdown of funding according to those percentages based on my projected collection rate. Go to the next page. This is kind of where the rubber hits the road. A breakdown of these categories. Public safety. The projected revenue, $5,555,459. Expenditures to date, almost $4 million. Those are cash outlays and debt service. Budgeted expenditures. Those are 3 more debt service payments that are split between public safety and transportation. Split between public safety and the public works building, because you went out and borrowed the money through GMA to do that construction. So those budgeted expenditures have to be there. When you add those into the expenditures to date, you come up with about a $300,000 shortfall in public safety on the 2009 SPLOST. Look at recreation. The percentage brings in a projected revenue of over $5 million. Expenditures to date, about $2.7 million. Almost $2.4 million left in recreation from the 2009 SPLOST. Now that money, just to be clear, that money's not on hand right now, but it will be. That's the projection through the end of the collection of March 31. Transportation. The percentage projected revenue for transportation was almost $1.8 million. When the property was being purchased for the LCI, $110,000 was used out of the transportation fund. Now that we've been reimbursed for the property, $110,000 will go back into the transportation 2009 SPLOST account. Expenditures to date, a little over 1.1, so the balance in transportation, $746,991. Public Works Building, projected revenue, a little over 1.3 million. Expenditures to date, almost 900,000. The budgeted expenditures, which once again have to be there because it pays off the loan. There's 3 more payments, pays off the GMA loan, almost $500,000, leaves a balance of a little over about 21.5 in the Public Works building account. Combine this with the 2005 SPLOST. The 2005 SPLOST, we had three categories. Public safety at 45%, transportation at 37%, recreation at 18%. The collected, obviously, 2005 SPLOST, we've collected it all. These are the amounts divided by the percentage that went into the different accounts. Public safety, 5.2 million, transportation, 4.3, recreation, a little over 2.1. The money that was spent out of the 2005 SPLOST. Public safety spent a little over 5.3, leaving them once again with a shortfall which has to be made up of a little over $61,000. Transportation, all of that money has not been spent in transportation. We've spent a little less than $4 million. Once again, LCI property was purchased out of this account. It has been reimbursed. That's $672,000. I don't remember what parcels it was for, but it came out of there. With the money that came in from the state, it could be reimbursed. So the balance on transportation is over $1 million out of the 2005 SPLOST. We've got to be spending that money, folks. Recreation, a little over 2.1 million collected, 2.3 was spent. Shortfall there of about $220,000. And this is in one pot, 2005 SPLOST pot. So you're going to see over the next couple of pages, let's see, which is your next page? You have the combined balances and then the true balances? Mm-hmm. Okay. You're going to see on the next page that those shortfalls in the 2005 pot of money have to be made up from transportation. So you've got one set of balances which show what happened, exactly what was brought in, expended, 2005, 2009, and the total. The true balances, obviously.
We can't do that though, can we?
What's that?
We can't do the true balances.
You're gonna have to.
We can't though, based on the vote we took. We said that money was gonna be spent on transportation. We can't take it and apply it to public safety to make up the overspending.
I thought we could do a mayor and council resolution to move those dollars around.
Not if that's what the people voted on in the referendum.
And there is a referendum approval by percentages and all, that if you're moving, you can move money around in projects, but normally it's within the area of the percentage of the major investment area. And,
Okay.
and what, the method I've seen used in the past to do what you're describing is really to find another city that's got recreation dollars and swap those. There are ways. It's not an impossible task. It's just not a direct accounting entry like that. So there's a way to get there.
Well, in 05, you've got a little over $1 million left in transportation, but there's almost $290,000 shortfall in public safety and recreation. In 09, once again, you've got a public safety shortfall once all the debt service is paid. And you're gonna have money left over in recreation, transportation, and a little bit in public works. But these are dollars that I don't know if you expected them to be there. I don't know if you've seen those numbers before, but those numbers were much higher than I expected them to be.
And
The 21.5, the public works building, that's for payoff of the loan, and part of the public safety surplus is for the loan. So we could use the 21.5 of public works to pay towards the loan because that was the same project.
if it's in the same
Make that
category,
separate.
normally it's in the, to be final, just so everybody understands, I'd have to see the resolution where it was approved and how y'all approved it, but if it's in the same category, you can move it. And the other thing that's probably easy in these bigger numbers total is if you probably done recreation improvements that include the driveways and walking trails, and so what you do is you go back and you audit your recreation spending, because if your contract's included walkways and driveways and parking areas and that kind of, those can be switched over to transportation, and it's an accounting entry. So, I mean, you're not far off, and balancing those things is usually pretty easy to do if you know you need to do it, so. Not to take
Otherwise,
away
we
from.
can adjust our numbers in our current one to make up for some of that public safety money.
We could, I mean, we have, what, about $500,000 in the current public
And we
safety
could take some
number.
away from the recreation since we have that and use that towards the next one.
And there, you know, it's impossible to do the budget for this and be accurate, you know, just like we're doing now for the next years. You can't do it. You don't know what the project's gonna cost, you're guessing at what you're really gonna do. And so I would talk to the committee that oversees the SPLOST application, because they've seen these things too, and what they tolerate is really the decision maker about it, so.
Well, when you're, you know, in '05, you collected, we collected almost $12 million, $280,000 off.
Right.
That's not, that's a pretty small percentage when you think about it.
No.
And really the same thing in '09.
And I know other cities have done swaps to balance these same issues, and it's just an accounting entry. It's not.
But we can't just move them around legally.
Is there will there be a new committee in your discussions on the 2014? Will there be a new committee, oversight committee?
I think Lawrenceville does theirs different. We don't have a committee.
No. The committee actually is the
The
county.
county committee,
Yeah, the
yeah,
county
yeah.
committee.
There'll be a new citizen
Okay.
panel if SPLOST passes. Now, if SPLOST doesn't pass, then,
Right.
I don't know who was on the 2009 committee.
Okay. But those are, what I thought were very positive numbers. And it should give, you know, Lisa and Recreation a little comfort to know that those are numbers that we should be able to complete 2B. And Gay, you've got a lot of resurfacing dollars there that can keep us caught up, or can get us caught up. So I thought that was, I was very happy when I looked for those numbers.
The 2014 SPLOST agreement is on our next agenda. I did speak with Chairwoman Nash. We had at dinner on Tuesday that we did have some overreach in the projections for the 2014 SPLOST to pass are about 42% pass seat approval. So it's going to be a very tight election when the 2014 passes. It is the county's advice to us, if we have money left from '05 and '09, that we need to have talkable projects of how we are spending that money. Otherwise, it's kind of like asking a citizen to vote for more money when we already have money in the bank. Why are we asking for more money? So we need to come up with some type of plan as to how these dollars are going to be spent.
But we do. We met in Parks and Rec, for instance. We met with HDR, our engineering consultant over there today, about 2B, which is the softball complex. They're going to be coming up with a proposal there, updating some budget numbers. We've got obviously have a paving list in Public Works. We can show where those dollars are going.
Well, and the true balance is part of it. Let me just make sure I'm on board here. We have spendable, usable funds to fund the project for recreation, $2.1 million. Currently, right now, we could, okay.
We haven't collected it yet. By
Yeah.
end of March 2014,
End of
we'll
March.
have that.
So the
It's
true,
just not on hand.
okay, so the true balance statement is kind of
No estimate.
okay. I just wanted to make sure I was, that it really doesn't read that.
Right.
So,
We don't have that money sitting in the bank right now.
okay. what do we have in the bank with regard to these categories?
We can, I projected $230,000 a month through March 31
Split
of
between
next
all?
year. So you can take,
Split by percentage.
you know, you can take,
So right now, effectively,
Seven,
for
basic.
last month, if the balance is 0, I guess I'm trying to figure out, what do we have?
what do we have? If that grand total is 3.6, we're 1.4, you know, we've got a little over half of that right now. Because we'll collect 230,000 in plus some.
Right.
That 230 was that conservative number from now through the end of March of next year. What's that, 7 months?
Well, and again, I'm not here advocating we spend what we don't have, or just, you know, go on a big spending spree. Be kind of nice to know if there's some little projects that there's money to fund now, that we make sure we look at the big project, but we go ahead and initiate as we can do it, some of the projects and before the year's out. I mean, you know, we may want a few extra pieces of exercise equipment, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
Well-
speaking with relation to
But don't,
recreation.
each of your projects has multiple steps. You're gonna have to have a study and engineering, and so you can kind of move along and kind of spend as you go. Or you
The
have to
park
do it.
projects have already done all of the steps, they're shovel ready, basically, except for
Ooh,
updated
don't
estimates.
use it.
Too deep?
Yeah, don't use shovel ready, please.
That means it's never gonna
I'm
happen.
sorry.
They're ready to go.
Well, we know, for instance, in Public Works, I mean, we know what our LMIG estimate is, but we don't have the LMIG money to put towards resurfacing with these dollars. And so, I mean, and there is no way we complete a Parks and Rec project by the end of March next year. I mean, the money's there to start and carry it through, but it's gonna, we need updates in a lot of areas. Need to update the design. We talked today, for instance, about, you know, parking, what we do with some drainage issues. We need a new budget on that project. We've got the potential for a pretty sizable donation regarding the softball complex. So it's, yes, it's gonna take some time to get all our ducks in order
Is
there.
fencing in this?
What's that?
Refencing?
What we need to decide as a council, our policy is, for the 2014 SPOS, the figures that we've been working on, the future SPOS, we just do percentages, we don't do specific projects, but the Parks and Rec percentage we put in there was hopefully about $2 million, and we were looking at that to do phase 2B. But now we have this $2 million left from '09 and '05 for Parks and Rec. So we need to make a policy decision. Are we gonna look at projects like that we haven't had money to do, fencing, you know, updated workout equipment, the town center, maybe Oak Road? Or are we gonna take this money and use it to go ahead and do phase 2B now? Because if we do phase 2B now, this 2.1 is gonna get used up in that phase 2B.
It will,
Essentially.
it probably 80 or 90% of it, yes.
So if 2014 doesn't pass, how are we gonna finish it?
So we'll,
Well, you don't start anything that you can't finish with this.
and we won't finish it with SPOS money.
Okay, okay.
You hit on a pretty good topic. First of all, let's make sure that Tony's aware of the resolution that you were asking about, making sure that it's all up and up and has all the key words so we can not take money from Peter to pay Paul illegally or out of the ordinary fashion. So if you can look at that, I mean, you know, swapping with other cities is a great, great concept. But as you all know, for the many, many years, my pet peeve has always been sidewalks and safe route to schools. If the money here that we have, or the projected sum that we have, can allow for some of these projects to rise to the top, and I know we talked about that many times in a lot of work sessions. If the money that we have here can rise to the top to provide the safe route to school, and I know Chief's been working on it, and which work on it, and I think even the former city manager has, So we need to get that somehow under some spotlight, if the money here can be negotiated with such thing formally.
Well, and the challenge, as I understand it, with sidewalks is just they're state roads and county roads. And that's, you've gotta have some opportunities for the state to participate and the county to participate with either right-of-ways, or there's gotta be something. I mean, money just won't do it. I don't think. And correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, you got a project, the chief and I have been working on for 6 months, and it's a joint state county. County's doing the construction, we're doing the right-of-way acquisition, the sidewalks, and you got a property owner involved. And so
Right, and then that's at the corner of 78.
it takes a plan, and then everybody participates. Yeah, you could start planning using all of this money today, and you're not ahead of the cycle. It'll take you a while to get to spending the money.
And there's nothing that says we have to have this money spent by the time the 2014 SPOS takes effect. But it will be good for us to at least have a plan, so that when the public says, well, why do you need more money?
Here's where it's going.
Right.
And y'all are in pretty good spending, I mean, you're in spending shape, because this is total collections, you're sort of planning into the future, and you have projects. There's nothing suspect about that I see compared it to other cities and the way the counties use their money. Y'all are pretty balanced. Is the resolution, you want to get to true balances, is that what the resolution?
Oh, there's not a resolution, I guess, but I would like to, this was just meant to present where I think we'll stand, what we have for future projects. I'd like, just like we started today in the rec, got together with Gay and Craig to talk about resurfacing, to bring back real numbers on projects to y'all that we can finish with these dollars.
Can we do this? I think it would be easiest, but if Tony could look at the intergovernmental agreement that we saw in the 2019 SPOS, it would not be difficult for us just to add the 353 into the 2014 SPOS. I mean, we're only talking about probably a percentage that we'd have to increase. And then that way we don't have to worry about trading with other cities or anything like that. It just will make it clean, I think. But maybe if Gay and Lisa can put together a list of projects that were discussed back in 29 when we passed these SPOS figures, and you can give us new estimates so we can see what can we get for this money right now, and then council can make the policy decisions of which of those projects we want to move forward towards, or which ones we want to go to the top of our list.
Okay.
Because I'm sure there's some that we could do, a whole lot of each of the small ones, or we could probably do one or two major projects.
Because
That-
if we put projects on anticipating 2014 money and we don't get it, we're in trouble.
Yeah. No,
So we gotta
what I hear the
avoid
mayor
that.
saying is, we're talking
What
about
can we do for this money we
spending
have right
these
now?
dollars right here.
Yeah.
Is that okay
The
with
only
everybody?
thing I heard for 2014 was to pay off our shortfall.
Right.
And surely, I know we have the IGA, we have the draft intergovernmental agreement, but surely there are other communities out there who will adjust those.
Yeah, I don't think it's a
Those
problem to adjust it, just council has to be prepared to just say that when it's ready to go, we're signing it at that August meeting, so. And at this point in time, enough cities have said they're gonna sign it, so if we don't sign it, then it gets passed regardless, so,
Enough of the population.
yeah. Is that okay with everybody? And then maybe we can just put that, not on Monday's work session, but our August work session for an update? Is that okay? That moves us on then to item 3, discussion and use of the town green. Ms. Mills is here, if I can maybe ask them if you want to give us a little bit of background.
Yes, Ann Mills, Executive Director of Overcomers House. Overcomers House is a local nonprofit organization. We're located on the corner of High Point and 124. And we host several community events. And we have a back-to-school giveaway that we were looking to have at the town green. After speaking with Mr. Sanders though this week, and that may be something that maybe needs to be, I don't know if it's in the rental process, but all the things that are needed, like the potties, the porta potties, the police presence, there were a few other things. Oh, the electricity, those things. And so after meeting with our board, I don't think that's gonna be in our budget with all those things. I mean, there's so many porta potties you have to have for every 500. I think it's 6 for every 500 people, and we're expecting at least 500 or more. So we would love to use the green, but unless something happens with our budget, I don't think we're gonna be able to do it at this time. But we do appreciate the consideration. Would love to have future events here. Just please consider us. We'll try next year to come back for the same event, but the expenditures are gonna be a bit much for us at this time.
When I met with Ms. Mills and Ms. Price, I wasn't trying to put obstacles in your way.
I understand.
I was just trying to be realistic as to what it's gonna take to hold an event here. And I'm glad you thought about that. I want you to be successful wherever it is.
Yes.
And it's just, I hope you understand where we were coming from. Maybe planning ahead of time for
Yes.
next year, it makes more sense.
Yes.
Is Briscoe Park a possibility?
What I was gonna ask, have you considered Briscoe Park or the use of Briscoe Park?
Yeah, bathrooms there.
Have you talked with Lisa about?
It's a
the
controlled-
We
opportunity?
Somewhat
did,
controlled
we
environment.
spoke with a gentleman there, because we considered doing a 5K in addition to the back to school as a fundraiser for it. And I think there were obstacles about that as well. It has to be mapped off, and something about the parking and having it at the same time as the park is going on. There was some kind of conflict with that.
Okay. Lisa, our Parks and Rec director's here.
Oh, great. Okay. Hi,
Yeah,
Lisa.
it's the parameters of the 5K is more the hurdle.
Okay.
So you're not gonna have a race if you had it on the green, correct?
No.
No,
So if you don't have a race at Briscoe Park, that's 2 obstacles out of the way that I see.
yeah,
So if you don't have the race, then maybe there's a,
You'd have to get back in touch with Matt, it was Matt.
yes.
Right, that
it
you're
was
talking
Matt,
to.
yes.
Yeah, I would get back in touch with him if you've changed that parameter, because that's the biggest hurdle, is the 5K.
Okay.
yeah, if you
Because
think.
we could do it, at our office, and that's where we've hosted several events, but we want it to be more visible, here on the green. And we even spoke with the mayor and Mr. Sanders about, just partnering up with the city and being more visible and just being active in the community, because we're a really active organization. We operate a community food bank, and we service probably close to like 800 people a month now. I mean, there's such a great need here in the community. We do a turkey holiday giveaway. We do mobile food pantries that we've had at our location and we had at a community church. And I mean, the need here, it just really breaks my heart. And for us to have the support that we're getting at this time, the volunteers, and it's like our organization is just really gaining momentum. And we want it to just be more visible and help as many people as we can and show that, the city of Snellville, I know, cares and was willing to possibly help us with our drive, with this back to school giveaway as well. So we're not out, we're just having to regroup and, get our budget in order
I'd
and
say
come back
give
again next
Briscoe
year.
Park some more thought, because you can advertise it,
Okay,
and you have visibility on scenic highway going by, so it may not be the ideal situation you
yes.
spoke of originally, but I think it's better, rather than say, oops, we can't do it on the green, let's forget it, or let's go off the beaten path really far. if you schedule something for Briscoe Park, I think you'll have good success, and I think it's manageable.
Thank you so much. Mr.
Let me add
Emmanuel.
to Councilman Emmanuel's. Briscoe Park is a public park. And I
Okay.
don't know what the numbers in terms of visitors, it is probably have a pretty good numbers on it. So when you hold your event there will be quite a few other guests in the park that would most definitely approach you and ask you a little bit more about it. So from that sense, it adds that additional value to providing the information that probably would not be that much accessible to all of the headquarters
Yes.
versus heading up there. You know, minus the track or some of these other areas that you were concerned about. Bristol Park can provide you some of these areas or something, or explore some of these windows that you had in mind.
Thank you.
And some of us have big mouths, and we can talk to a lot of people and let them know what you're doing.
That'll be great.
So especially if you invite council over there.
Oh, we will. Most definitely would love to have council there, yes.
Now, your event is a week from Saturday,
Yes,
isn't it?
yeah, that's kind of where,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
when the
a
obstacles
close-
came up, we're like, you just need to step back.
Thank you so much. Okay. We
We don't need to
appreciate,
take any action then on this agenda items tonight. So that then brings us to our exec session, during a special call meeting of the mayor and city council of Snellville. Mayor and council announces certain matters should be discussed in the closed session of the meeting as council advised. The city with respect to closing the meeting, discuss pending and or potential litigation, settlement claims, administrative proceedings, or other judicial actions, which is exempt from open meetings act pursuant to OCGA section 50-14-21. To authorize negotiations to purchase, dispose of, or lease property, authorize the ordering or appraisal related to acquisition or disposal of real estate, enter into a contract for purchase, dispose of, or lease property subject to approval and a subsequent public vote, or enter into an option to purchase, dispose of, or lease real estate subject to approval and subsequent public vote, which is excluded from the Open Meetings Act pursuant to section 50-14-3B1C. On the appointment, employment, compensation, hiring, disciplinary action, or dismissal, or periodic evaluation or rating of a public officer or employee, which is excluded pursuant to OCGA section 50-14-3B2. On a motion of Councilmember Kraus, seconded by
Emmanuel?
Councilmember Manuel, the meeting was closed following Councilmember Manuel voting. Mayor Cowles, yes. Councilman Manuel.
Yes.
Councilman Howard.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kraus. Councilman Sabag.
Yes.
That the meeting will be closed to the public.